think we can start. Good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to be here at probably 10th Most Music Talk. I'm Barna Petrányi from Hungary, and this is part of Most Music Project, which is a Creative Europe supported project to where the aim is to support the Balkan world music scene in 4 pillars. And we at Progressione, together with my colleagues, we are leading the Urban Project pillar, or it used to be Urban Creatives pillar, supporting projects which are promoting world music in connection mostly with municipalities or public institutions, creating and generating a more music-friendly environment in the Balkan area. And I'm very happy to have 2 guests today. But before I introduce them, just a little bit of the schedule of the day. There is an open call for the urban projects, which is still open for a few weeks. And our aim was with this talk that we give some examples. So we will talk a little bit about what can we imagine in the most music programs, and what can be imagined as a collaboration between musicians, music organizations, music experts, and municipalities. That will take about 30 minutes, and then we will open the floor for questions. More colleagues will join us, and then if you have any questions concerning the call, concerning the projects, then we are here to answer them. I hope we will be able. And and we plan the whole evening for an hour. So thank you very much, Martyna and Iris, to joining us. And I would like to ask you first to shortly introduce yourself, where you are currently based, and how are you related to the topic of public institutions and music. And first, I give you the floor, Martyna, if you are ready.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the Most Music for inviting me and to have here, and also to focus ourselves on something creative, something positive, something that we do on daily basis. We just are crawling out of COVID era. Now we are facing maybe even more serious problems. So solidarity with Ukraine, it's like very first message that we have here, all of us. This is something that we are doing recently now. We are super busy with the topic, with helping the musicians, but not only in the city. I'm Martyna. I'm in charge of programming in the Institution of Culture, Katowice, City of Gardens. So we are based in the city of Katowice in Poland, in the south, in Silesia region. And I'm representing here Gardens of Sounds Festival, that is World Music Festival, run by our organization, run in the city. So we are looking forward to have, actually last year we already had the live event. We already had musicians from Hungary as well. So that was great. It was the first music festival in Katowice after another lockdown. So I'm glad that we can talk about it. And we had different ideas. We had different projects during the COVID time, because that was the most recent that I would like to share. I would like to talk about. But yes, so hello from Katowice, from Poland, where we are struggling and trying to help as much as we can in this tragic moment of history. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Martyna. And I will also ask you, Iris, to talk a little bit about yourself. We don't hear you.
Do you hear me now? No.
Yeah, but then it's pretty noisy.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, but there is some background noise.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. If you plug it back, then we don't hear you. There is some technical issue. I would probably ask my colleagues to help you. Maybe you have to log out and log back, but we will continue with...
if it's noisy now or without headphones maybe?
Yeah, without headphones, but then we have a quite strong back noise.
Okay.
So I hear my advice.
Sorry, I don't know why, but
that's technology. That happens all the time. Let's do with the back noise, and then we will do something more.
Okay. So sorry for that. I'm Iris, and sorry also for my voice, but with a little bit flew around, so that's why I lost it a little bit. It's a pleasure to meet you, even virtually. Hopefully, in other occasions, we will meet personally and see what each other do on the field, let's say, how creative we are and how do we organize things on the field. I'm Iris Canaj. I finished Master in Science for Theater Direction here in Tirana, Albania. And I also lead the NGO, non-governmental organization named DoART in Albanian, or DoART in English. It is a bilingual meaning. DoART in Albanian means to love art, and in English to do it, to make it. So it's not only just a name, but it's kind of a slogan for us. So we organize the Festival of Street Performance, as you may see below. It's very important because it's copyrighted. Let's say we are the first that we organize the Festival of Street Performance in Albania. In our language is, as you can see, with hashtag Festivali Artistëve të Rrugës. And we organize it not only with artists who perform on the street usually, but even well-known and young artists come together and be part of our festival. And they perform for a cause because we organize it near a cultural monument. And it's a way to let's say, to get to know better with history and our heritage, and also to perform, to mix together somehow the contemporary art and also the history and the architecture also. I'm glad that I'm part of Music Talks. It's a great pleasure for me, and I'm very happy to share the floor with you guys.
Thank you very much, Iris. I will ask you to mute yourself, because then there is not this. And I would both of you a little bit ask still a personal question concerning how how did you end up in the area where you are now? So what brought you close to music, and also how these ideas were born, which you are leading or programming. And probably start with Martyna, and then we keep this row.
Yeah, thank you for question, because I will try to keep this long story short. Since I'm not musicologist and I'm not involved practically, I hasn't been musician myself, so that was some kind of choice of heart. And not really education. I've graduated from interdisciplinary studies, from philosophy and from cultural studies, and my main domain was literature, and it still is in my heart, and I've been reading a lot, and I don't really write so much about literature anymore, since we are doing a lot of other things, but music was always my huge passion, and I've been I started working with music in 2003. So it's been almost 20 years, and wow. And then I've been living in a few different countries. I was working at the university. I was doing my PhD in comparative literature in Finland, but music was always this part that was the biggest passion. And as I started working with festivals, with different initiatives, and then when I got this invitation to come back to Poland, to my hometown, to Katowice, I got this pleasure and big honor and responsibility to lead the world music and jazz section, which was great. And I tried to do it as well, as good as I can. And I hope that it's been a great adventure since 2013. So now it was somehow a choice, somehow it was coincidence and a lot of luck, and I've been here, and I think that now I cannot really imagine going back, for instance, to academia and to work there after all. So it's been really maybe my destiny, in fact.
Thank you very much, Martyna. It was a nice story. And Iris, your background?
It's not, I think, a choose. Sorry. I didn't choose, let's say, to be part of music industry. It's just something that I love being part of art in all the disciplines. And it's a great way to connect with people, with their souls and with their minds. So it's the best way, let's say, through art to connect with them. But music is easily accepted, let's say, somehow. So that's why. Sorry again for my voice, but
thank you very much. Just one more question, Iris. Then about the history of. So when did you started working in the fields? Oops, we lost her. Since Iris will.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. So the first edition of Festival Artis Vetrugus, the Festival of Street Performers, it was in 2019. So this is going to be the 4th edition of it, and we are about to organize it maybe in May. The first edition, it was in 5th of May, which is our National Day of Heroes here in Albania, and we organized it in front of the cultural monument named Radu Tirana. It was the 3rd radio in Europe, which broadcasted in 1938, started, let's say, their recording, let's say. And it was very nice because a lot of people here in Albania don't know that this building is a cultural monument. And it was the first festival, it was with a lot of struggles, of course, because all the people asked me, you are not a street performer, why are you organizing it? Or how can you manage 25 different disciplines to come together in the same road and to organize a festival for around 14 hours, because we started at 10 o'clock a.m. and we should finish at 1 minute before midnight, because the last minute it was kind of a silence for the heroes for their rest in peace, let's say. So the whole day it was full of activities, and the people they were coming and being part of which discipline they wanted to be, because we had different workshops, we had performances, we had theater plays from young, as I said, and also well-known people and artists from Albania, and also foreign artists from Italy, from Belgium, from Kosovo. And it was a great pleasure for us, but it was also a challenge for us, because that day it was a rainy day in Tirana. The May is unpredictable as a month, but due to climate changing each month here in Albania, it's not the same anymore, and we can predict, let's say, how it's going to be the weather. And it was really a challenge for us, but we did it because, as I said at the beginning, it was our cause. It was, we had to do it the 5th of May, and we had to do near the cultural monument. And when you organize events outdoor, the weather is the most difficult part, let's say, because it can be too hot, or it can be too cold, or it can be rainy day. So there is not something in between during all the day and on the festival. And other editions, even due to pandemic situation, we also organized it. The 2nd edition, it was behind the National Gallery of Art, which is now under construction. And in front of it, it's also the installation, The Cloud, Rea. It's an urban installation. And we managed it to split in different days. Mm-hmm. So we will not have a lot of people at the same time for enjoying the same event. So we spread it. And we tried to manage, let's say, not to have a lot of people, as I said, for the pandemic situation. And also the 3rd edition, it was this year at the Cultural Monument Sarajet. It's a traditional house of Tirana. But here in Albania, it's also, I don't know if it's in your countries, but cultural monuments can be also private property. And in this case, this house is also private property. And of course, everyone wants to build a new building and not to keep the old house. And that's why it's kind of protest through art, to go inside this building, or at least in its garden, and not to violence, let's say, inside the building, like others
Yeah.
can do. It's a fine
Yes.
line between artivism and vandalism in this case, and that's why we try to manage it in a good way.
Yeah, I really like the word artivism, which is probably, this is not something that, for example, municipalities like so much, in a sense.
Yeah.
I think, Martyna, do I understand it correctly that you are under the municipality? So you are basically a public institution, because our pillar is somehow try to combine and foster a project like yours to support basically the cities to foster as many music programs around. We have to be honest, what we mostly see from the point of view of the municipalities, that they are usually not big fan of music events. They are noisy. Everybody has this experience. So I would be very interested how the city is handling it, and why does the city find it interesting?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think that the best combination is, because from what I see, there are different city policies, and the best combination, in my opinion, is to have this equality between small initiatives, educational, and this kind of like long-lasting and long-term, and not short-sighted, as for me the big festivals actually are. So some cities, they prefer to have this big events, that are attracting a lot of people. They are coming to the city. There is also like the revenue that is very attractive in this way. And I call this kind of thinking that, the firework way of thinking. And then there are also different ways of approach towards the culture. And this is actually approach not towards the culture, but towards entertainment. And I think that what is very sad and very dangerous is this mixing these two definitions, entertainment and culture. And I think that, this mixing these two, it can be very harmful for the other events and further away thinking, because we are public institutions, so we have this duty to support social activities, to support unknown artists, to work on audience development, to do all these necessary things that are really long-term, and which are maybe not as spectacular, but are worthwhile, at least for us or me personally, than big events that are just like for a couple of days, and there are a series of concerts. They are bringing the income. And I think that the the hardship of municipality is that they have to think about these two different aspects of the city PR and the city, both culture and entertainment. I think that the problem starts when these two terms are being intertwined or being misunderstood. Something that, we are working is indeed, Barna, as you said, in a public institution that is run and funded by the municipality. So we are mostly in charge of this part of indeed educational event organization, and small steps, and more like deeper working in culture. And we really would like to persist as an institution of culture and not institution of entertainment. Because there are other events, other organizations, other private companies, they can do that, and we are not the one that is taking over this kind of task. And so that's why we are trying to also we are also distributing the funding through different programs like theater grants, music grants, micro grants for small NGOs, and for foundations. Music grants, they can be also for bigger initiatives, for companies and for individuals. We took seriously this task and this goal to be socially involved, to speak on behalf of minorities and marginalized groups. And this is mainly what at least our team of programming is aiming for. So indeed, but I think that being in this umbrella of the municipality, we have to know that there are very many different interests, different goals, and we are just part of this whole cultural agenda of the city. And so yeah, I see the both sides, and we are trying just to keep our mission as public institution in this all.
Yeah, I think this is something that people hardly find in municipalities, especially if they are bigger ones. Who is in charge for what? Whom should I approach at a certain point? But in your case, Martyna, I understood that it is also very important that it's not just the performances, but it's also something which is a long-lasting education, and that is what became interesting also for the city. That they started to fund the festival and all the activities around.
Yes, and even our events, like regular festivals like Katowice Jazz Art, for instance, or Gardens of Sounds, which are dedicated also to the niche genres. It's not pop, it's not alternative music, there are not big names. So we are also having this mission within our festivals. We are not like hype, we are not trendy. We are just trying to bring some values that are important for us, like tolerance, and yeah, indeed civil rights movement. And now in facing this situation now, facing the war in Ukraine, we also try to speak on behalf of those who are in need. So this is something that we are trying to preserve and just to go into that corridor.
Yeah, can we say just like the two takeaways? Is one is the message, that there is also kind of a message, which I also heard from you, Iris, and a little bit this overarching approach of bringing in also the training and education as also kind of an advice. So that's what the municipalities are sometimes interested in, or hopefully interested in. But I would also ask you, Iris, a little bit like an NGO, if approaching a municipality, I mean, using the public space as not the municipality, especially if it is around monuments, it could not be easy to to convince them, not even say to have their support, but at least let you do the project which you are interested in. So can you tell me how this has happened, and how did you find each other with the municipality?
So, of course, we need collaboration with municipality for each edition, because we need at least their permission to block the roads, let's say, because we move also the cars which were parking there, and we also stop the traffic, let's say, there. So we need absolutely the permission of municipality to do that. And the first edition and this fourth edition, it's also funded by Ministry of Culture. So we have collaborated with municipality for the ambient, let's say, for the public space, for the permission for the public space, but also funded from the Ministry of Culture. Of course, it's a little bit difficult to organize this kind of festivals, because we want also to invite and to make it a little bit, let's say, more known also in other countries, and also to create, as most music does in this case, to share our experience and to create some exchanges, as we did also with Imaginarius Festival in Santa Maria de Feira in Portugal, and a kind of internship. And we also want to share this, what we do, and also invite foreign artists to perform in Albania, but it's also somehow a way to promote our country and our cities, and also our history. But on the other side, it's a little bit difficult, because commercial arts, specifically music art, if it's commercial, also sponsorships from businesses will be more than if it's qualitative, let's say, art. So in these days, during pandemic, before and after pandemic, art, like real art, when I mean the qualitative art, it's a little bit, let's say, attacked, because even from businesses, As I said, they want numbers of audiences. They don't want quality of audiences who will follow up this kind of events. And on the other side, from government, which can be municipalities or ministries, I mean local or nation or country government, let's say, it's a little bit difficult also for them, because during this situation, at least for Albania, we had an earthquake in 2019. So the budget, it was split, let's say, for that case, for the buildings who were destroyed. On this, during pandemic, the budget went to Ministry of Health mostly. During now that we are waiting, let's say, if, hopefully not, but it's somehow in a war. So the budget will go mostly for the Ministry of Defense. So somehow art, it's not, let's say, something well funded, at least. Or even if you see some calls online, open calls in different from different other NGOs and all this stuff, they are not especially for art and culture, but are mostly for environment, which is of course necessary. And but even though in our festival we include a little bit of environment, because we, at least the smallest thing, we don't throw that glasses of beer on the ground, because they know that after some minutes there will be a stage to perform, and that's why the people and the audience understand that. So it is a little bit of involving environment, involving sport, and how to be, let's say, more in good condition during pandemic and after it, and all this stuff. But it's a little bit difficult, as I said, for to create qualitative art.
Our 30 minutes starts to be over, but I don't want to stop here. I just want to confirm with you, Iris, that there was two things which I took out as kind of a best practice. One was this contributing to the promotion of the city, or making the city understand that your event is somehow contributing to their visibility. And the other one was this holistic approach of the event. So however it's mostly focusing on music, you are also focusing on other activities to be embedded in the network of the city's cultural institutions. And just as a last round of questions, I would like to start with you, Iris, on that. Like when talking with the city municipality, do you start it from the scratch all the time, or have you been able to build up a personal connection with the city? So is it getting easier and easier, and is there someone who is, following up on you, asking what's your plan already for the next year, because the city would like to prepare itself? So is there a positive change?
In fact, yes, it is a positive change, because at the beginning, as I said, there were like the audience. I mean, it was a little bit suspicious why are you organizing that, or that opinion that street performers are not so well treated, let's say. But we have found this formula, if I can call it like that, to collaborate, and also the ministry and municipality are hugging it, let's say. That's why I mentioned the first and the fourth edition, which is going to be this year. It's funded by Ministry of Culture, but the second and the third edition, we made it by our own from DoART. So we didn't get any money, let's say, but it's difficult. But when you have a lot of passion, it's just like Bukowski said, like, find it in love and let it kill you. So if you want to make art, and a good one, you should also sacrifice from a lot of things, but also you will get well paid, but not with money, but your heart will be full. And that's why I said even earlier, why we listen music. We don't say why we hear, but we listen music. It's deeply. It's something that we can be, let's say, in another, while we are standing on the ground, we can be in another level, kind of nirvana situation for our soul and for our mind. And also we can find a lot of great answers there in lyrics of the sound of the music that we are listening. On the first edition, let me say also that, sorry, we had some students from Belgium, and they organized a sound installation. While the audience were watching different disciplines of art, after they went to record their heartbeats. And it was like how your heart is working. It's fast beating, or it's quiet, or it's after you have seen something beautiful, that something has been in your memory, because it gives you emotional memory, let's say. So it was really nice, and we called it like the rhythm of the city. Because a lot of heart beatings were the sound from this sound installation were all also the, how can you say, the refrain of this first festival of street performance. So it's not only music with notes, let's say, but everything in our, even the silence has its own music, I believe.
I think it's a very nice, nice example. I just want to go back also to this question of, of sacrificing thing, where you also said, like, if you do high quality, then sooner or later, the ministry, the city will arrive and back you up. And I think this is a very good sign. Martyna, I will still ask you a little bit about the same, how from a public point of view, you see the collaboration with music professionals from the independent scene, and how is it evolving at the festivals?
Yeah, luckily these two festivals that we are preparing, they are dedicated, or they are engaging this alternative forms of art, and artists who are alternative artists too, musicians, like Jazz Art is a festival of improvised music. So the whole system of residencies, the concert simply, but also collaboration between local artists and our guests from abroad. It has developed a lot, and that was very good. Also, COVID times brought us the new way of perceiving and organizing festivals. So this is approach, but artists usually who are based in Katowice, they know where to find us. And then we are also inviting or choosing the artists, knowing them, what kind of preferences they have, what they like, what are their interests. And of course, the longer we are working, the more we know. So this is also common trust. And then we also know who is, now we are preparing, well, I hope that we can prepare that, because it depends on external funding. The whole project dedicated or inspired by Afrofuturism. So we know that not everybody can do that, and not everybody can go simply into like improvisation. So then, it demands a lot of experience and knowledge, and knowing your local scene, and not only local scene but also international as well. So it's a lot of effort, but it is rewarding. I can say that's definitely.
Yeah, thank you very much, Martyna. I think this is also, again, an important aspect on sustainability or long-term relationship, also with your audience and with the artists whom you are working with. We're way over the 30 minutes, but I will not say goodbye for you two, because I think there are also questions which are more coming to us, and I was going a little bit to the comment section, where there was a question concerning when promoting your events, what is the most important tool for you to reach out to your audience? So what are you using to engage the audience? I think we lost Iris for a second again, but if she will be back, then I will reframe the question. She's here. Good.
Yeah, I'm here.
So first, Martyna, and then you, Iris, if you say a few things about reaching the audience.
Yeah, that is now preparing these two festivals, and just being in the production process is a good question as well, because what we already experienced before, the alternative way of promoting, they're very important. We, of course, we use these traditional forms or virtual forms of Facebook and social media in general, posters and prints, but we see that first of all, there are two answers for that. First of all, it's collaboration with different institutions and different bodies in the city. So working with museums, with art galleries, with different clubs, and really not obvious music venues. But different forms of arts, like Academy of Fine Arts, collaborating with them was very good, because that brought us completely towards different dimension of organizing jazz festival. So this is one. It's collaboration, cooperation. It's it's always priceless, and it's the more cooperation, the better. Because it really brings us to different, it shows us how to think in a different way, how to go beyond thinking only about music events, but thinking in an interdisciplinary way. And then the number two is the alternative ways of promotion. So whenever we use installation in the city space, or some good ideas like musicians in a archaic tram, for instance, that was very successful, or having any creative idea, it's always working most. It works much better than any Facebook or anything that is. So being creative and really thinking and having fresh ideas, it's also the way how we bring these new audiences, especially that it's jazz or world music. So we can count on a bit like more adult, mature audience, but bring the young audience is always a challenge. So that we have to be really creative. We have to be on top of everything, and of course the new methods that I'm not really specialized stuff. There are also new streams of communication.
I'm very happy to hear that you don't really like Facebook in that sense for promotion. I think it's a little bit overvalued, and something which I don't really appreciate very well. I don't know if Iris are you here still? Do you have a reflection on the question, which a short reflection, because then we have to talk still a little bit about the core.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what ways you to use for promotion?
Yeah, our audience and our program of the festival, it's, let's say, split, because during the day it's for families and children, and also the night, the evening and the night, it's for youth mostly. So the first of all, we organize banners during the city, and we put it on the city. We collaborate with some well-known bars for youth, and we can put some posters on them. We also collaborate with televisions and media, radio and television, of course, the traditional ones, let's say, and also through social media, of course. If you want to reach this target group of youth, technology is their strong capacity, let's say. So,
but under the media, you don't mean advertisement in the media, but like press.
We go in different emissions on television, and we speak about our event.
So
and
you don't buy whatever.
No, we don't buy, because, as I said, it's somehow to promote also the city and the country, and it's an event for them. So they have also the discipline of culture during their program. So it's a collaboration, let's say, somehow. But also on the second edition, we organized one day before the festival started, Night Circus, which was a performance created especially for the festival. It was a girl with a long foot, let's say, with circus. And she walked in the most well-known, let's say, for youth roads in Tirana with lights and all this stuff. And it was nice in a good way, let's say, not traditional marketing, let's say, or how to reach the audience, but somehow they were notified that something interesting for the city and for them it was coming up.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of communication, of using unique tools which are very differently, have very different circumstances in the different cities. Martyna, Iris, I would like to very much thank you for this very short talk about, in general, how to cooperate with music programs and cities, municipalities, or other public institutions. And why we had this talk is because till the 15th of March, which means, I guess, around 2 weeks, we have still the Urban Project Call open in the Most Music program, where we definitely aim to support any kind of creative idea which is helping to change the city environment or the settlement environment for a more music-friendly policies. So it can be something which is impacting the city, how they behave with music productions or with music events, how they support music events, or these can be also any unique activities which are promoting the world music of the the Balkan area. The call is especially for the Western Balkan countries, and what we are offering is training in two ways. That will be with our trainers. There will be training especially on policy making and cultural diplomacy. There will be also cultural management training, and we are also welcoming not only the music professionals, but we would be very happy to involve more and more people from the municipality representatives. And we are selecting 6 projects, like project ideas, which we are also supporting with the funding of up to 5,000 euro. So it could be something which someone is already doing but want to level up. It could be a new idea. It could be it's quite open, but it has to support the local environment to become more world music friendly. And I think let's give the floor for questions. And I don't know if the other colleagues from the pillar will join me, but I have some. I have some questions already here, which we also collected before. The first one was only Victoria is a colleague of mine at Progressione, and she is in charge to lead the pillar together with me. And something else to the call, which I haven't mentioned, that we have, and it's general, that we have 3 trainers. One of them is coming from the European Music Council. We have someone who is dedicated on cultural diplomacy, and the third one is the representative of Exit Festival. So we have quite a wide range of experts in the training program, and they are the one whom are making the decisions also on the application. So it's not us, but we especially ask the trainers, and there is also kind of mentoring program where we're seeing the project ideas and the applicants, and we try to match them also with the trainers during the project implementation. But the first question was, only individuals can apply. These individuals should be musicians. The answer is no. There could be any formation to apply. It could be also an individual, but is of course important that there should be one person from the music expert part who is participating, and that after the certain point there would be nice to involve someone from the municipality side as a private individual, because they are the one who are taking place at the trainings and at the mentoring program. But concerning the small projects, we also support the small projects, or this pilot project. So there we will need a way to give you the fund at a certain point. Yes, Vicky.
Just a short comment on. Hi, everybody. There is a quite long description of the open call on the website of the projects, and I'm suggesting to take a look on it. And I think that a lot of informations are there already. So it's a mustmusic.eu.
But for the first question, that's more or less the answer. So we try to be open in the form of the activities, the applicants, so it's and then on the way of implementation we will need, but mostly for a technical approach. Are there any other questions which?
Yes. What is the task and responsibility of the
just a second, Vicky, because I think seeing the questions, I would thank you very much for you, Martyna and Iris, for joining us. I was not sure if there are still questions coming up which are not specifically related to the call. I mean, I'm happy if you know the answers there, but I think that I would like to say very big thank you for joining us today, and I let you go in that, and and good luck with the situation in Poland, or I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, and good luck with the applications, and for the applicants, because the brilliant ideas are waiting, and it's fantastic initiative. So we'll encourage.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iris. Also.
Thank you very much for this talk, and sorry again for my condition. Bye.
Always happens.
And good luck for applying.
Yeah.
So back to the questions. What is the task and responsibility of the involved policymaker? Should the applicant legally sign that person by contract? So the answer for that, no. That is not a must that an applicant applies with a policymaker, but it's a suggestion, because during if you get involved in the project, then you should have someone from the decision-making side. So so the question is, so the answer is no, you are not signing any contract. It's informal cooperation between the two sides.
Yeah, but the task to clarify is, of course, to help you to implement the project and have the impact on a local level. So that's why we are interested in bringing in also the policymakers into the process as soon as possible.
And that's where the mentors, trainers are coming into the picture, as they are helping the process during the training and during the mentoring part, how to reach the policymaker side, and they in general helping the implementation.
Are there any more specific question? Because then what I don't know if it came in as a question now, but this is a general question which came up quite often. What is a typical project in this pillar? And my answer is that I'm super happy that I don't know, because we want to keep it very, very open. It can be anything which you understand as a way of supporting a more music-friendly environment in your local level. It could be a festival, but it could be also something related to local policies. I can also imagine something collaborating with the local restaurants to bring more Balkan world music into their music sphere. So it can be whatever which you feel will support the music scene on a local level. We have zero restrictions. That is most probably the most open call in the Most Music program, and probably also one of the most open calls I have ever seen.
And in the description of the call, you have a link where you can have a look on the current rounds applicants mini project. We are calling them mini projects, and that is an important information, that if you are selected into the 6 successful mini project implementers, then you can get up to €5,000 grant for your mini project. So it's an important information for the potential applicants. And somehow I am here alone, but Barna is back.
No, I am back. I wanted to see the comments, and I clicked on the wrong button.
I think, Barna, you could share our project in Progressione. What is a great best practice?
It's a quite great example, I think, except that it would not be eligible because it's not happening in the Western Balkan area. But we in Progressione, we are doing a project for a few years already, where there is a bridge in the middle of Budapest called the Liberty Bridge. So it's even have a nice name. And the bridge was closed, I think, in 2017 or 16. I don't remember exactly, because of renovations around. But the bridge itself was not under renovation, but there was no transport, no cars and no public transport going on. And people started to use the space in a certain way. So they started to go on the bridge. And after a certain moment, the city decided that they don't send them away. So it became a temporary public space. And ever since, we always ask the city to give over the bridge for us. And we are organizing their cultural events, a lot related to a lot related to music. So there are concerts. It's in a very nice location of the city. It's really in the city center. You have the Danube around, and it's also supporting a way of how to engage with music in a public space environment without really disturbing the local inhabitants, because there is the bridge has this it's not a very big bridge in a sense of, if you close, there's not a big traffic disruption, and it still becomes a place for entertainment and enjoying music. And we also try to focus on culture, so that we really select the performances. But it is also a free space, so there are free times when anyone could come up and start to do their own music. So I think that's kind of an example for a way of collaborating also with the city. So they don't give us money, but they give us the bridge, and they are helping us with some infrastructure, meaning, for example, the toilets, which is necessary in the middle of the city. Yes. If there are no more questions, which I don't see, then I would like to say thank you very much for joining us today, or seeing it later on the Most Music Facebook page or website. And once again, the deadline is the 15th of March, I think midnight. People like to do things in the last moment when that's also matters. So before 16th of March, let's say like this. And the scope of countries is the Republic of Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Kosovo, Albania, North Macedonia, Romania, and Bulgaria. So the Western Balkan area, you can apply from any of those countries. And we are looking forward for some very interesting project ideas and a nice collaboration for approximately 1.5 years together on this journey.
So apply until 15th of March, and let's see each other during the online and personal events of our pillar in the MOST project. And I don't know how many people have been watching this live, but thank you for being here, and follow us on Facebook further, and let's see each other in the next month.
Thank you very much.